Is there anybody here that wishes to speak on the Southeast Urban Renewal Plan? Okay, we're gonna go and close that public hearing.
Bermal,
Yes.
Voss,
Yes.
Chichak,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Schreier.
Yes.
Need someone to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve the agenda?
Second?
Okay, Hall,
Yes.
Schreier,
Yes.
Bermal,
Yes.
Voss,
Yes.
Chichak.
Yes.
Okay, we got a couple folks signed up here. One for the automatic license plate reader and a couple for the parking. I believe we need to address those when we get to them.
Yeah, if they're on the agenda, it's usually easiest.
Okay, so hopefully everyone's okay with that. Item 4, looks like closing, we're gonna do a Woodward Granger Booster Club meet and greet event on Wednesday, August 19th. If we're so inclined to support that, they'd like to go ahead and close the road. We just need to decide if you guys wanna do that or not.
Everybody good?
Yep.
Yep.
We'll make a motion to authorize Bud's Pub to close Main Street from State Street to east edge of Bud's Pub building for the Woodward Granger Booster Club meet and greet event from 4 to 9 p.m. on Wednesday, August 19th. City to provide the road closure signs.
Second?
Okay, Schreier,
Yes.
Voss,
Yes.
Bermal,
Yes.
Chichak,
Yes.
Hall.
Yes. Okay, here we go. I mean,
You gotta go by fast
as long as it needs, Bob.
The first thing we have on the agenda is Resolution 2630. That's the second amendment to the Urban Renewal Plan. What we're doing with that one is we're adding the property that is in Polk County to the urban renewal area, which is a part of the right-of-way of 102nd, that's still in the county, the Myers property and the Hook property. The reason we're doing that is that a part of the public improvements, the trunk sewer and the force main, go across the Myers property and then down the right-of-way of 102nd. In order to use the taxing and the financing that we're using for it, we need to get those into the urban renewal area. So, and then we adjusted some of the project costs. So, for example, later on the agenda, you have the development agreement with Leader for the reimbursement for the road improvements. We had spelled out development agreements previously, but we adjusted the amount so that we made sure we got that covered. And then so we're just trying to tweak it to match what we have. So all this does is really adds to the urban renewal area and just essentially adds, make sure we got enough cap space in there. If we want to do something with the Reader agreement, that's on the agenda later for getting the road reimbursement agreement. Now that's no money up front from us, but we would reimburse them
Yep.
over time. So glad to answer any questions.
Do I need to read all this, or can I stop after 2026-30?
Jared, yes. This one we should. Others should that because bond council prepared it, they don't feel fussy about that because this deals with the legality of it, so they want to make sure it gets read.
Yeah, read that whole one.
Okay.
You want me to read it?
Yeah, I am illiterate. All right, everybody good?
Yep.
Motion to approve resolution 2026-30, determining an area of the city to be an economic development area, and that rehabilitation, conservation, redevelopment, development, or a combination thereof of such area is necessary in the interest of public health, safety, or welfare of the residents of the city, designating such area as appropriate for urban renewal projects and adopting the amendment number 2 to the Southeast Urban Renewal Plan.
Second.
Okay, Schreier,
Yes.
Hall.
Yes.
Bermal,
Yes.
Voss,
Yes.
Chichak.
Yes.
Skidmore Street, before the rain last week, they had it pretty well graded and seeded, grass had been grown. The rain sort of took out the west ditch, that's gonna have to get redone. One thing that did come up though before that is that Kurt Todd had been complaining about the water dribbling out into his field. So they did run a tile over the little intake right in front of the outlet of the storm sewer was. And last week before the rain, it was bone dry. So, and even tonight when we stopped by, there's no water running in the ditch. So I think we've got, we can't stop the rain when it actually rains. It
Right.
rains out the ponds. But that dribble flow, I think we've got a solution for. So that seems to be working fine. This payment estimate is, again, they're responsible to come back and regrade and reseed and all that stuff. We're not accepting the project.
Okay.
So this will be primarily, this actually doesn't even include most of the seeding work in it. So this will be work that they've done, like striping and signing and stuff like that. So we would recommend payment estimate number 11, $31,932.07. Before we do change order number 8, there's the trail on the east side, the sanitary sewer is in the trail because there's really no place else to put it. And after looking at it and talking to Kurt, the fact that we're under the budget, we're staying under the budget for that project, decided that it made sense to replace the manhole castings in the trail with ones that float up and down with the frosting. So what happens, is that concrete, when it goes up and down a little bit with frosting, look, the manhole castings, if they're anchored to the manhole, which is below the frost line, what happens, they don't move. So what happens is over time, they move up and down. So we replaced it with what's called a floating or 3-piece casting. So there's a casting on the manhole, and then there's a casting that's embedded into the sidewalk, and they can go up and down each other. So longer term, it's a little bit of money now, but longer term, it means we won't get those tripping hazards where they're at different elevations. I will say there's one exception. If you go right up to the north driveway, if you go up there today, the trail isn't paved, and there's a manhole casting there. Well, that manhole casting is actually in an area that will slope downward, it's an ADA ramp, and because it's going to have a slope on it, we have to use a traditional casting because the casting is going to be cockeyed. And if we try to have a floating casting, it doesn't work.
Right.
It doesn't move sideways, ladder, it doesn't move that way. So as the pavement goes up and down, what happens is the manhole casting is binds. So we left that. There's nothing we can really do about that one. That's just where the driveway is. So the change order is really, I think, a long-term preventative maintenance issue, so we don't have to be back adjusting those long-term. So that's the 2 actions tonight. Sternquist has indicated they would get their subcontractor back. They're trying to decide right now whether that's something that they're grading subcontractor or they're going to have absolute duty all that way. So that's kind of where we're at right now. They got to make their mind up on that. So there'll be more to come. We're not done with that project. We're going to get a couple, 3 more months to go. But we do have 2 action items tonight, which is payment estimate 11 in the amount of $31,932.07 and change order number 8 in the amount of $6,660.50.
Anybody got questions about those?
No. The all-time reader. Just wait.
Make a motion to approve partial payment estimate number 11 for the Sycamore Street Improvements Project in the amount of $31,932.07 to Sternquist Construction Incorporated.
Second.
Okay, Shyak?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Bermal?
Yes.
Voss?
Yes.
Cheechak?
Yes.
Okay. Action, or make a motion to approve change order number 8 for the Sycamore Street Improvements Projects in the amount of $6,660.50.
Second.
Okay, Shyak?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Bermal?
Yes.
Voss?
Yes.
Cheechak?
Yes.
Southeast lift station, we crank up, get going on that. As we talked about previously, there's some of the equipment that won't show up for quite a while, primarily the electrical and control equipment. But much of the other equipment, like pumps and support system, hatches and all that stuff, has now been delivered. We worked out where they're storing it, and I go out once a month and inspect it at their shop in Cumming. I don't really want it sitting out there on the job site. And I don't even really want to put it in a storage. It's probably better in a, because they have an indoor storage area that's cordoned off. So most of this work is actually just for equipment. And what we wanted to do is make sure that we had some of this equipment before they start digging. So when they start building like the manhole structure, they've got the braces, the rails that go in it now, that's all available. So they get everything done except for the last thing will be the control pin. So the payment estimate, number 2, we got $130,639.60 is almost all equipment that will go into the lift station if you want an electric phone. Change order number 2 actually puts together a couple of different things. One is, if you remember back some time ago, I mentioned that the fiberglass trash basket is no longer manufactured. They can go to aluminum or stainless steel. Staff preferred stainless steel because it's more durable. That had a price of $248. Council seemed to be fine with it, but we just never incorporated it in a change order. So that one incorporates it in that way. The other part of that change order is when this went out to bid, Mid-American still hadn't solved the problem. Mid-American was trying to decide whether they were going to have a pad-mounted transformer or they were going to do a pole-mounted transformer, because these are 208, 240 motors, single phase, so they can pole mounted. So they were going back and forth, and we couldn't get a decision out of it. And so they finally came back and said no. With the configuration of Beaver Creek Estates, they want a pad-mounted transformer. All the conduit and all that stuff is in it. The only thing we didn't have in there before was the concrete pad, the spill containment. We didn't want to include that in there and then find out we didn't need it, because if we took it out as a credit, we wouldn't get much back for it. So this is just adding something that was kind of a floating loose end. We're still waiting for the proposal for electric service to the pump station, which I'm not sure they're slower than the pump people, but we're still working on that. So that's what that change order is. That one we probably need to do. The other one, we separated them out because this one is really the more, the council has some discretion. When we did the pump station, this was going to be over in the area, I would say south of the church property, where there were going to be no residential lots. And we didn't have the north-south street. And so subsequent to that, they proposed the north-south street and the 3 residential lots. So what we did is we slid the pump station over to be next to the north-south street. But originally we had a chain link, black vinyl chain link fence, because that appeared to be appropriate, because we weren't in somebody's yard. And now they were going to be in somebody's yard right next to the road. So staff thought that something more like a vinyl solid panel fence to screen it, so you don't, because you can look through the chain link fence. So that's what this change order is. It's basically to add a single color black, basically solid panel fence, except for the gates. We don't want to have the fiberglass gates because they'll deteriorate over time. So we still have the gates on the west side will still be chain link with black vinyl. So this is one that staff recommended, but because it's not mandatory, I separated it out. So if the council says no, we want to keep the chain link fence, we can do that. So that's why it's as a separate change order. I didn't want to mix them together because the first change order really things we don't have much choice about. This one, the council, although we think it's probably a good idea given where it's located, the council does have the discretion whether they want to keep the chain link fence or go with the solid panel fence.
The solid panel fencing is $9,800 more than black vinyl?
Yeah. That's from Des Moines Fence. And they got 2 quotes, and one was like 98, the other was like 10-1. It's a pretty good sized site.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not. And we probably could have found a cheaper fencing company, but one of the things that particularly Public Works wanted, they wanted a reliable fence company so that they could come back. So this is Des Moines Fence. So they've been around forever.
Yeah.
And if you pay a little bit more for them, you'll probably do. But if something happens down the road,
Yeah.
it isn't Joe's fly-by-night fence company.
What I didn't want was the general contractor going to Menards and putting up a fence fence and then
Yeah.
ours not having it when somebody runs through it in 2 years, but be able to get replace panels or get parts if we don't need to.
So we're-
So higher
So
quality.
this is a commercial
Yeah,
grade fence.
yeah.
And I believe there's a driveway on the north side of that lift station will feed 2 homes,
There are 3 houses along
or
there.
3 off that driveway that will, yeah, ingress and egress right past that.
And we're not using
Plus, it's
it.
on the main,
Yeah,
it's on
main
the
road.
main north-south.
And originally the gate was on the north side. Now, we're not on that driveway, we're directly off the road, so we're on the east side of the road, so the west side of the fence. And it's set back so that the guys can pull their truck off the road and open the gate and then go in. Or just leave the truck there and open the gate, which is probably more likely what's going to happen.
But this is more for beautification than anything else. Either fence will work just fine. It's just
Yeah,
for,
either fence will work for security.
Yeah.
This works for aesthetics.
yeah, yeah.
And that's why it's discretionary, because aesthetics is different than security. So we have 3 items tonight for the council to consider: the pay estimate, change order 2, and change order 3.
Well, does anybody have any thoughts on change order 3?
What are the other ones we have?
What was it saying, Michael?
I mean, do we have other pump stations that have just chain link?
We have one lift station that's got chain link with privacy slats in it, but I'm good, I don't count when it comes to
It's
money,
off.
I get that, but I'm good either way, it's secure, it's locked in,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I would just assume
we're
save
spending
money.
money
just
for,
a-
1.5 to 5 acre lots that are gonna have, it's just aesthetic. Is my only reason for the difference, so.
The other thing is this thing is hung over remote, Twin Eagles, so there's a philosophy, the less people can see it, the less people think what's in it. Now, they can still look in the gate, but
The chain link gate, is it going to have the privacy slats
Yes.
within the, okay,
Yep,
okay.
yep.
yeah.
What were you saying, Jody?
I'd be fine just leaving that out and saving the money.
I think so too.
And it's something we can add later if that's a problem.
That's why we put it separate, so you can make a decision.
Like I said, I don't care either way, but if we don't do the vinyl, we're still paying the original for the chain link.
Right.
So to take that out is gonna be repaying for the vinyl, the full price. If we decide to do something later, it wouldn't be just $9,000, it would probably be $15,000 if we change our mind down the road.
Right.
So,
Would you be open to getting some different bids from contractors that I personally know for fencing companies that are good companies, instead of one fencing that are super?
that's through, it's all through the contractors out of my hands.
Yeah, if you want to contact.
I don't know how it works, being a
The
contract.
city can't, if you decide tonight you don't want to take any action on it, and Russell wants to call and say, would you entertain this? That's not what to do.
Yeah, yeah.
We're not foreclosing, we can't do it because it's in the contract, and it's part of the contract and the maintenance fund, so, not saying we can't do it, it's just got to go through the proper.
Proper channel, yeah.
Is it gonna make a difference whether you sell a lot or not, Mark?
He's building that $3 million house right next to it.
Yeah, we don't care about him if his house is going there.
Isn't that right?
Bushes are cheap.
He's building that $3 million right next to it. No. So, first thing we have is the budget investment number 2.
We'll make a motion to approve partial payment estimate number 2 for Southeast Lift Station project in the amount of $130,639.60 to Hildreth Construction Services.
Second,
Okay, Shia.
Yes.
Paul.
yes.
Burnell.
Yes.
Boss.
Yes.
Cheechak.
Yes.
Make a motion to approve change order number 2 for the Southeast Lift Station project in the amount of $8,990.
Second,
Shia.
Yes.
Paul.
Yes.
Burnell.
Yes.
Boss.
Yes.
Chichak?
Yes.
If you want to kick the can down the road on the change order 3, just a motion to defer action.
Is that what we want to do?
Yep.
We'll make a motion to defer action on Southeast Lift Station, item number 3.
Second.
Okay, Shrout,
Yes.
Bermal,
Yes.
Voss,
Yes.
Chichak,
Yes.
Paul.
Yes.
Let me explain why the motion to defer as opposed to motion to table. Under Robert's Rules of Order, a motion to table has to come back at a certain time. A motion to defer can be brought back at any time. So that's why a motion to defer is more appropriate than a motion to table when you don't know what you want to do.
When do we need a decision by? When do we need a decision by?
Probably in the next
18 months.
4 months.
Oh, 4.
It's not burning a hole in anybody's pocket.
All right.
Highway 141 water main project, as you pointed out, Gary was working away at it. What happened last week is the rain washed out the backing on the east end of the water main, the rain tower. And in the rain, we had a problem. They got out there, I think Aaron said they were pretty responsive. They were out on Friday morning. So, part of what we ran into is that the plan drawings for that water main showed it going farther to the east than where it ended up. And we can't move the new water main over because we get in a lift station. So instead of, originally what we had is we were doing tapping the sleeve valve, which is a live connection. We wouldn't have gotten into the water main. Still have to dig around it, so it still could have blown off. But this way, we're going to put we had to go back and extend the water main and put a T. And while we're there, we decided to add some valves so that in the future, we can extend it. Let's say that Fitzsimmons property develops, we need to extend the water main, we can extend it without shutting the water off. And at some point in the future, if we decide to close the loop down on 102nd, we can have an ability to feed it either way. We can feed it from the tower or at some point we feed it back. So those valves gives us some long-term flexibility. So we wouldn't do that if we were doing a tapping sleeve with valve connection, a live connection. We'd have the valve on the south, not on the east and the west. Normally, if this were a developer project, we would require valves on all the legs. So while we're in there, this is the time to do it, because it provides flexibility for us longer term. So we have a partial payment estimate, number 1, and we have $118,869.00, 118,869.00.
We'll make a motion to approve partial payment estimate number 1 for the Highway 141 water main extension project in the amount of $118,869 to Gerke Incorporated.
Second.
Okay, Shrout,
Yes.
Paul.
Yes.
Bermal.
Yes.
Voss,
Yes.
Chichak.
Yes.
Water tower project, I think, we thought we were all done. We had a little erosion that washed out. That's really the maintenance bond item, because they actually had it taken care of. And there's a tap that still has a little drip on it. I heard they were trying to come back today.
They were still working on it when I got back.
So we're to the point where we probably, accept the project. They have a 4-year maintenance bond, so if something needs to be done, they still have a maintenance bond. We still will hold the retainage to $2,000 for another 30 days, so if they don't get that stuff done, we can simply sit on the retainage for a while. So get that out, get it done, and you can start the paperwork, close out that loan. The actions tonight would be all of the actions that would be needed on the water tower project, so we'll come back again. So the way it works tonight is we have a partial payment estimate, number 13, final, and that pays them $5,820. Then there's a resolution 2026-31, which is a formality required in the Code of Iowa to accept the project and authorize the mayor to sign a certificate of completion. And then, so it doesn't have to come back again to the council at the August meeting, we have payment estimate 14 retainage, which is a 5% retainage, $52,845. That will not be paid until at least the 9th of August. So we'll sit on that. They get the work done, which they should get it done hopefully tonight. have somebody absolute or somebody out there to get the dirt filled in the next few days. We should have this. I think that's the appropriate course of action. I'm hoping for those kind of things when it's actually, it's really not what's contemplated. I think we're at the point now where are you comfortable with?
Anything stuff, I'll just deal with it myself at this point. Just deal with them, but yeah, we're close.
If we get the lead done, we're in the
Right.
motion, I think we're at that point.
Yeah.
So we have actually 3 actions tonight. One is payment estimate 13 final, the other is resolution 31, and the other is payment estimate 14 retainage to be paid in 31 days.
Are you ready? Make a motion to approve partial payment estimate number 13 final for the water tower project in the amount of $5,820 to McGuire Iron.
Second.
Okay, Schreier.
Yes.
Paul.
Yes.
Bermal.
Yes.
Haas.
Yes.
Chichak.
Yes.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2026-31, accepting the water tower project and authorizing the mayor to sign the certificate of completion.
Second.
Okay, Schreier.
Yes.
Paul.
Yes.
Bermal.
Yes.
Haas.
Yes.
Chichak.
Yes.
Make a motion to approve partial payment estimate number 14, retainage for the water tower project in the amount of $52,845 to McGuire Iron, and authorizing the payment to be made 31 days after acceptance of the project.
Second.
Okay, Schreier.
Yes.
Paul.
Yes.
Bermal.
Yes.
Haas.
Yes.
Chichak.
Yes.
The Granger site, motor site plan, we had previously seen that. All they really did is they divided it into 2 pieces. So the north building gets built this year, the south building gets next year. I think it's pointed them as a financial thing. Some money this year, some money next year. Other than, originally they had water and sewer services to the south building, moving around to the north building. Now they're going to do all except the sewer to the south building internally, which they're free to do. We don't control that. It's essentially the same thing. I saw tonight, I got an email at 5:30 that in phase 2, they're taking a little bit more of the parking lot and replacing it. But that's just, they're free to do that. They don't require a site plan to remove or replace or so, parking lot. Because it's really just dividing an already approved project into 2 pieces, we thought it was appropriate for the council to approve phase 1 and phase 2, but we didn't think it needed to go all the way back to planning and zoning because it's really 2 halves of the same thing. So to help them move along, we thought it was just get it on the agenda, have the council formally approve it. It's arguable that they could have done it in 2 pieces without coming back to the council, but I just think it's always better when somebody makes a new submittal that we actually take some action to say, yes, we're okay with it. So that's resolution 32, which is revising, approving the revised site plan that divides the Ranger Motors project into 2 projects.
Yep.
Yep.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2026-32, approving revised site plan for Granger Motors, including phase 1 and phase 2 of the overall site plan.
Second.
Okay, Schreier.
Yes.
Paul.
Yes.
Bermal.
Yes.
Haas.
Yes.
Chichak.
Yes.
Ordinance 443, this is the ordinance that creates the 3 new estate zoning districts, ES1, ES2, and ES3. The council passed the first reading last month, decided to pass on tonight for second reading or second and third reading. I'm going to kind of give you where we are, because this sort of plays into where we are with the next item. Because they kind of, in a way, they kind of all intertwine with each other. The annexation is official as of yesterday.
Yep.
So the Secretary of State has signed off on it, so that area is now formally in the city. So we have the zoning district to create. We received the request to rezone, which in the next item will send it to P&Z to start that process. We've also received the preliminary plat, which will need to go to P&Z in July. We've also seen the construction plans. So if council is okay with moving forward with the second and third reading of ordinance 443 tonight, then it's all lined up so that next month, you'll probably have the rezoning, the preliminary, basically the rezoning, the preliminary plat, and the construction plan. So everything will all be kind of wrapped up in one. We got the construction plans on last Friday afternoon. Somebody's working on Friday afternoon, other day. So I do think there is, and I didn't want to take action on it because I think there's a valid issue we need to discuss about what we're doing with 106th. Because their project is just west of where the asphalt ends on 106th. And they have no problem with extending the asphalt. I think the question really becomes, what does that look like? And because I think the existing street is far narrower than anything's ever going to run in the future. So do we contemplate that they build a wider street now? Do we retrofit it, or do we agree that, yeah, put it, extend what it is, and we'll deal with it in the future? I think that's a discussion we'll have next month. But right now, we're just, so things are kind of lining up for the rezoning, the preliminary plat, and construction plans, all in the August 14th meeting. So we go from the earliest date, and we can have a meeting in July to look at the last date, latest date in August. So that's what we have. So what we have tonight is ordinance 443, which is just, all it does is create those three zoning districts. Council last month seemed to be comfortable with that. This, just for FYI, they have reconfigured the Bluegrass Estates are all 2-acre lots now. So they're all, it will be an ES3 in your past ordinance 443. At a minimum time, you need to pass the second, consider the second reading, and if you're so inclined, you can waive the third reading before those.
Any questions? All right. Motion to approve ordinance number 443, amending the Code of Ordinances of the City of Granger with respect to creating a new zoning district as code sections 167.19, 167.20, and 167.21 for quote residential estates, end quote, zoning within the city limits of the City of Granger, Iowa, second reading.
Second?
Okay, Paul?
Yes.
Boss?
Yes.
Bermal?
Yes.
Peacock?
Yes.
Shrout?
Yes.
Motion to waive third reading.
Second?
Okay, Hall?
Yes.
Boss?
Yes.
Bermal?
Yes.
Peacock?
Yes.
Shrout?
Yes.
The next item is simply a motion to refer the rezoning request by Stensland, which would be for Bluegrass Estates, to planning and zoning. We received that request a month or so ago. We were sort of waiting for the annexation and creation of zoning districts. So now it's time to get that going over to planning and zoning. So the motion to refer would be in order.
Make a motion to refer to plan and zoning for public hearing and report an application for rezoning certain properties from A-1 to ES-3 as requested by Stensland.
Second?
Okay, Paul?
Yes.
Shrout?
Yes.
Bermal?
Yes.
Boss?
Yes.
Peacock?
Yes.
The interchange study. We had a meeting with the DOT about 10 days ago. We decided we would not be super confrontational going in because we wanted to find out, we wanted to get some next steps. And then we did talk about our concerns about access. And you're aware that there's been some correspondence back and forth regarding that. But a couple of items on the interchange. Schedule-wise, we had a long discussion about what would be the potential environmental requirements, because there'll be federal money in this, because the state will put some money in it. We just don't know how much yet. But there'll be a fair amount of federal money, so we have to go through what's the National Environmental Protection Act, NEPA. And anytime we disturb anything, we've got to follow their procedures. And there's really two ways that we can do that. One is, if it's not a lot of impact, you have a potential for what's called categorical exclusion or a CX. That's a 6 to 10 month process. That's as quick, it can actually go faster, but it won't. The other is an environmental assessment, which is a far more detailed look at it. And that is probably a 2 to 2.5%. And so one of the things we talked about with the DOT staff is, are there things that we could do that would get it in the category of exclusion category? Because that would cut at least a year and a half off the schedule. Maybe we can get there in 5 years versus 7 years. So in your packet, there's a drawing from Snyder that basically shows kind of the concept of what would be the least impactful to the environment. And what it does is it takes the two, where the two south loops are now, just brings them to an intersection, and then shows a road going west that goes south, goes somewhere. But not include that road south to 100 to 200, 102nd in the interchange project itself. Because once we do that and we go out into that virgin area, we're automatically going to be in the PA. So they thought there was a good likelihood that if we use that little bit more compact design and don't go outside the footprint, that area is all being disturbed, it's all torn up when they built the interchange, that we have a good chance of getting a categorical exclusion. Don't know that for certain, but we know that's our best shot at it. So don't need any action, I just wanted to let you know we're working, trying to figure out how do we speed this project along. And then the second thing is we had a discussion with them, what are the next steps? And they were able, when you look at the proposals, it looks like the expedited process. But it really is the expedited process. It's the programmatic and environmental study. They have to look at alternatives, they pick an alternative, put a cost together, they do some of the environmental work. The environmental work that they have in there is basically aimed more at a full EA. So they get a category of exclusion, some of that will fall away. This is what they call the 4 technical memo approach, which is not the full basic report. So this is probably about half the cost of what the full vote would be. So Snyder provided a proposal. I'm not asking you to act on it tonight, but I put it in there for information purposes because that's where if we're going to modify the change, we're going to end up having down that road. So you guys can think about it. I'm not asking the action. Last month they said we were trying to do what we could to keep the interchange project moving forward while we fight the side battle on 102nd. So we're really doing both of those. But the DOT seems to be open to trying to figure out how to move this project along, which I thought was at least something. There's a part of it, if we can get this thing moving, we may break the law chain. And we may phase it together. We may need to make some decisions about long-term access management and component of it. We're not prepared to really do that today. This would be like what do we do with 190 at the State Street intersection, it's the long-term future, like the North Kennedy connection and some of those issues. They also, because it's so close, it probably will include in the, if we get a category of exclusion, the ability at some point to build a roundabout, another roundabout between those. So, not saying we have to do it right away, but just get the environmental out of the way so if somebody wants to do something, and it doesn't necessarily even have to be a roundabout, at least we've got the environmental stuff out of the way and we don't have to go through that process again. So, just want to give you an update that we're trying to run on 2 parallel paths. One is to push on the access and then also push on keeping the interchange moving. And there's at least 1 or 2 people in the meeting that I think are sympathetic to where we are. Just we have to figure out whether they can have any, whether they have a
Hold
sway.
on.
Whether they have a sway. So we're keeping working on that. There's some side conversations. Wade Ryman, who's the lead for Snyder, has other projects with District 1, so he has the opportunity to meet with them one-on-one on occasion. And so some of this stuff is we've seen as sort of in a one-on-one, like sending off to say, go do something. I'm not necessarily engaging necessarily DOT or the city in it, but just trying to keep pushing and saying, where do we need to go? So that's kind of what I've got to report. I think I would say it's progress in the sense that they're amenable to doing it. They've agreed there'll be federal money in it. They've outlined what they think would be the fastest path we could get there. So, they could have done more roadblocks. And we're still going to resolve the access issue, but I'm hopeful if we get some movement, maybe we can get some temporary, we can get them to bend on some of that stuff. No action really on that for tonight. One of the things I just want to bring up for consideration is item K. There's been a fair amount of discussion lately about what to do south of 141 Xavier Corridor. Whether it's going to happen in the near term, I don't know, but there's a fair amount of activity. One of the things that has come up on prior occasions is although we have water and sewer down there, we have some challenges. Where is the best way to put sewer, not only to serve that area, but long-term to set the stage if we want to go out and serve the Wendover corridor. We have to have a lift station, but right now we don't really have a sewer in the city that would be an ideal location to pump flow from the Wendover corridor. It really needs to come back down to the 190th area of the Dunedin property. So I think at some point, this isn't a super extensive evaluation, but I think we come up with a plan so that when somebody comes to the city and says, we want to do this, we have a plan laid out. And not only water and sewer, but given the discussions with the DOT, we also need to bring in the transportation. So we don't want somebody building a street network that doesn't fit with what we envision long term. So we're not going to lay out the gory details and you have to put this here or that there. But we've expressed to everybody that's talked to us, the city's feeling in a mixed use development. So far, pretty positive. Everybody sort of agrees that there's a component of it that's probably up along the highway. That's commercial, some single family, maybe some townhomes, multifamily, whatever, a variety of things. But everyone's asked, like, what are the utility plans? It's like, well, we got stuff over here, but we don't really know how to get from here to there. So something you can decide you want to do something on, or we can come back and revisit it. It's not burning a hole in anybody's pocket, but I think it's something that needs to be done. And while we're at it, one of the things that we probably need to think about along the same line is the drainage out of that west area of the city. Because we got the complaints up on Linden again, we've got other things. We've had some issues with capacity. Everything gets down to the culvert under 141. We've talked about for the last 20 years, we need to come up with a better plan. And then the drought comes and we don't do anything with it. So the two don't necessarily have to go hand in hand, but those are a couple of things that I think we probably need to think about just going forward. Not asking you to make a decision on either one of those tonight. We just want to plant the seed to see what the councils say. No, it's crazy. We don't do anything. We don't look at that. Fine, that's fine. If we think that that's something that's worthwhile, we can continue that discussion. Any feedback? Is it something you think
What's a
about?
rough cost to throw the general concept together?
$3,000 to $4,000 the most.
I don't know. What's your guys' thoughts?
On both those, with the water issue at 17 and
They kind
141.
of go hand in a way. They go kind of hand in hand. Yeah.
Yeah, the one in Linden is, something's gotta be done over there, so.
So you guys can think about it. And
Let's just make a motion. I mean, it's $4,000 in the ground that's eventually gonna go, and we're in the mindset, and it's not even talk about it, just get it in place.
And we kind of just did have a flood, so there's that. Not a
Yeah.
drought.
I mean, seems pretty minimal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Should I just put not to exceed $4,000, not to exceed $4,000?
that's fine, yeah, that's
Okay.
fine.
We'll make
I
a,
don't even know that we get there, but
okay.
Yeah.
Make a motion on developing a utility service plan for the area south of Highway 141 in the general vicinity of Xavier Avenue, not to exceed $4,000.
Second.
Okay, Schrock,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Bermal,
Yes.
Voss,
Yes.
Chichak.
Yes.
we're into page 2.
Hey.
We're almost there. Resolution 2026-33 is a resolution formally accepting the right-of-way transfer of jurisdiction of 102nd. So back in May, the Polk County Board of Supervisors approved transferring jurisdiction over to the city. We didn't do anything with it at that time. They reached out and said they wanted it. Where's the ordinance that accepts it? And we thought it was probably a good idea to acknowledge it. Ben and I agree, we don't think it's an ordinance. We think a resolution is more than adequate. So now they went back and pushing us. This is basically a resolution saying, yes, we asked you to transfer it, you agreed to transfer it, we agreed to the transfer. So we're just asking, and this is critical because without this, we couldn't have done the urban renewal plan, second amendment. So they kind of go hand in hand. They go back to the first item of my discussion tonight. So.
Easy enough.
What, I guess, what do you mean by section? Like, not the whole 102nd, or?
It's the part of 102nd that's not in the city. So part of it's already in the city, like where the church is, the piece that's in Etchins, Beaver Creek Estates. So this is the 102nd, which would be Myers and Hook, the piece that's west of the Beaver Creek Estates, that quarter mile over the county line, and then a piece on the north side. So it's basically over to the county line. So right now it's about half in and half out, or a little less than half in, a little bit more than half out. So this is the only way we're going to get the county to agree to let us use urban renewal money for it. And frankly, they already approved it, so whether we ever do that, we're going to start.
Already recorded it, so, yeah.
The improvements to the road is a separate issue. That's the DOT fight.
We're not committing to anything. We're just
Right,
saying-
right.
We're just saying, yes, we acknowledge
Yeah.
that you gave it to us, and we
Yeah.
want to have it now.
All right, make a motion to approve resolution 2026-33, accepting a section of 102nd Avenue right-of-way from Polk County.
Second.
Okay, Paul,
Yes.
Schrock,
Yes.
Bermal,
Yes.
Voss,
Yes.
Chichak.
Yes.
The reader development agreement, I think many were working on that, I don't remember you on.
Yeah, I'm working on that with, and send it over to the bond council, and haven't got back yet, but we'll have it here shortly.
Basically, what it
The
does.
terms we already talked about are kind of agreed on, just getting them memorialized.
Yep.
We need to have a public hearing on this, and so the thought is to set the public hearing, and not knowing when bond council is, how long that's gonna take, what do you think?
Nathan thought he'd have it back by end of next week,
At the end of next week. So,
at the latest.
readers, basically what it does is the reimbursement agreement. So we put some money, we put a base amount in, and then anything else that he gets back is only generated off of his first project. So it's kind of what we talked about previously. So he's anxious to get going on this because he's building, right? So what Ben and I talked about is we need to have a public hearing on this. So we had to publish the notice. But we're 5 weeks out from the next council meeting. So to see what the council's appetite would be to have a public hearing and a short meeting for a public hearing and consider approval of that development agreement later on this month. Probably the earliest we could do it would be the 22nd. And so if you want to stay to the Wednesday, it's probably the 22nd or the 29th. You could go to the 5th of August, but then you're only a week off the meeting. I'm not available on the 5th of August. I think I'm Tucson, Arizona, nice cool place in August, just where everybody wants to go. I think I'd be smart enough to not go to Arizona in August, yeah. So what's the council's thoughts on, tentatively setting a meeting, or do you want to wait till the August meeting? I mean, Todd's kind of been pushing on this for a while, and it's been kind of dragging along.
I'm good whenever. Sooner the better.
Two weeks from now is the 22nd.
22nd,
Yep.
fine.
22nd, I can get the notice in the paper for next week.
Next week.
And so that'll be, just has to be in, the public hearing has to be 4 days after it publishes in the paper,
Well,
so
if it posted on Thursday, we've got,
we're good.
yeah, we're doing it on Thursday, it can be the following Wednesday. So it just has to be next week. That work? You need the notice?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
We're good.
July 22nd, everybody said?
Yeah.
What time?
6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, we can do.
6?
6.
Six.
Yeah, whatever there is. Yep.
This would be a short.
Yeah.
That decision.
And then the last thing I had, and I didn't put it back on the agenda, is the Grandwood Development, but I thought we talked that out last month, so I don't have anything more to add.
I wasn't sure, yeah, it's,
Yeah, I read that in
I
there.
think I was told to put it back on for.
John had sent an email
Mr. Klein,
to,
so-
John had sent an email, Klein had sent an email to Kirk, and so I think Kirk wanted to put it back on and see if there's anything more, but
I
I
mean,
think we
last
kind of
month-
acted on it last month too,
Last
so.
month, the council said they were not interested in doing anything at this time, maybe in the future, so.
And John didn't come to prove his case again, so.
okay.
So I believe I got, less than that.
Appreciate it, thank you.
Do we have to do an action on it to set that public hearing, the reader, or no?
You want a motion?
Yeah, why don't you do a motion on him?
We discussed
Set
the date,
public
but we
hearing.
didn't actually,
Yeah, just motion to set a public hearing
Okay.
on 6 o'clock on July 22nd for the reader, whatever, reader development.
Yeah.
yeah.
Make a motion to set public hearing for the reader development agreement on July 22nd at 6 o'clock.
Second.
Okay. Hall?
Yes.
Shoyak?
Yes.
Bermal?
Yes.
Boss?
Yes.
Cheechak?
Yes.
Anything else for you tonight? Or am I setting up?
I think we're good.
Can you,
Very informative.
Bob.
yeah, on this next item, what's your thoughts on that? I haven't been involved much at it all, so I
actually
don't.
think if he's willing to do it, he's got the history to go with it instead of trying to bring somebody new up to speed. And something needs to be the pain in the rear. And so sometimes somebody who can be a pain in the rear without officially being a city pain in the rear, might not actually be a bad idea.
Okay.
I mean, they know who he is. He's pretty passionate about it. I mean, I've never seen him have something stick in his craw like this one did. And he's kind of a bulldog on it. And so if you're willing, I think, at least for a while, until we get some direction, I think rather than have to retrain the new city administrator to bring him up to speed of 4 years of history, and not knowing much about the politics of the metro, which is another challenge, I think it's probably a worthwhile, and I don't think it's going to go on forever, but I think for at least for a while through this transition, I think it's probably, I don't think there's any downside to it, to put it that way. That makes sense.
Fair enough.
Because I'll tell him, I'm not afraid if he gets out of bounds, telling him it's like, hey, your volunteer services are like cool.
Okay.
And occasionally he does listen to me.
Any more discussion on that item?
I'm done.
So I've got some questions on it. Is this something we have a contract in place for him to do this?
It's an unpaid position.
Okay. Do we have parameters for what his duties are and reporting to council or anything like that?
We can set whatever you guys want. I just
Okay.
bring it to the table because I think you're not gonna find somebody that's gonna fight for us more than what he is, so that's why I want to bring it up.
And volunteer would serve at the pleasure of the mayor, so to speak.
Just if I could add, my thought is that he would funnel whatever he does to the mayor and myself. I would report it as a part of my monthly meeting. The expectation, he wouldn't do anything unless Clint and I are aware of what it is. We don't know what that's going to look like, but, we don't really want somebody out there completely freelancing, but within the context of, like if we have a meeting with the DOT that he would be beneficial at because of his history and willingness to kind of plead the city's case. I think within that parameter, you know, I think that would be beneficial. But I do think it needs, you know, it's not gonna be a heavy lift thing. So once in a while, route it back to Clinton, myself. Clint's not been involved in a lot of the meetings, so a lot of it's kind of focused to the meetings. Zach?
I would like to see more structure around it. I think we need reporting parameters set up and what's your thought on like time frame for this? You know, are we talking the next year or two? Are we talking 6 months?
We're probably talking, this is sort of this year. So I think we're talking maybe 5-6 months, maybe a couple of meetings. I think it's going to be pretty much. We're going to use it very strategically, and we're not going to be the right person. We're just going to use it as kind of a resource as needed.
Okay.
So it's hard to tell. I understand the infrastructure, but I don't know where it's going to go.
Right.
Yeah. So my thought is that if you sort of work through Clint and myself, we can report back to the council, and if Clint says, well, or I said I think he's getting out of bounds. My guess is we're talking maybe a couple, 3 hours a month.
Okay.
I guess if he's meeting with DOT, is he taking our new city admin with him?
We haven't really got, yeah.
I mean, I guess,
He would never go by himself. So,
okay.
yeah, he wouldn't even feel comfortable meeting with the DOT by himself. So it would generally, lately, for the last while, it's been the two of us that go to meetings.
And like, how long has he been working on this?
Years.
So I guess 4 years. So is him staying on a couple more months really gonna do anything if he's been working on it for years?
I think we're getting to a point where we're getting to crunch time. Because we're down to now, we're focusing on what the issue is. We either resolve the 102nd access issue, or we're gonna have to blow it out.
Right, so I guess I don't know if there's really a purpose for having him for 4 months.
Other than he's
I
got the
guess I'll say
entire
this,
history of it.
until you've dealt with the DOT and all the politics of that, you can't even fathom to begin to understand what it takes. It is a continued grind for year after year after year to get to a result. Am I wrong?
They bring it down.
It's, so if you got that same face just beating you up every time, you're best off just to stay in it. And
Yeah. I mean, I hate to bring a new face in there, right?
right, because they're going to look at it as a new challenge, like, oh, now we can play their games with them. That's exactly what's going to happen.
Jared's exactly right. Yeah. They're great. I won't say they're Iran. But I can draw an analogy.
For the record, you said you won't say that.
Say that. Yeah.
It's not up to the council. I just think that for a limited period of time, for continuity to maybe get Cole up to speed, it makes some sense. And we'll do it in a very confined way, and maybe not much of anything. And the goal would be to get Cole up to speed at some point, and not to distribution. But it takes a while to get to know the players, because when you go to the meetings, they have 5 or 6 people there, at a minimum, they all play this good cop, bad cop role.
And what are the main things we're fighting for again? So
Right now,
access.
the fighting thing is to get Beaver Creek Estates access to 102nd for their east street, so they can get going with their development. And the ability to do something to improve 102nd from a gravel road, so that it's tolerable for development. I mean, nobody wants to build $1 million house on a gravel road.
Right. So the DOT is already planning on closing access eventually to 102nd.
We're not, I think everybody's in agreement. At some point, we're better off with that closed. That's not really been, I mean, the better access is coming off of the 17 interchange. I don't think I think everybody's agreed on the long-term goal. What we're trying to do is to get them to budge, that Beaver Creek Estates can move forward with their project in parallel with the improvements, so that they're not waiting 5 or 6 years before they can do anything. That's the goal right now. Everything else seems to be kind of falling in place, except for that one piece. That's the fight with the moment.
So I guess, can you just explain that a little bit more? Like, what's the, so we're trying to, like, basically pave 102nd and then get some sort of access south on 17?
Long term, the goal would be the interchange would have a lane that you could get off and go south. Now, whether it's straight south, you jog around a little bit to the west, but you could get from 17 down to 200, 102nd. You can go east over to Beaver Creek Estates, the church, and even the Strawberry Farm, Etchings property. So at some point, I think that intersection is probably going to go away. But what we need to have is we have access. Everybody agrees that probably 10 years from now, the interchange will be reconfigured, the access will come south, whether it's straight south or jog over, probably more likely over the Eichner property around the residences. We don't really want to go through that. And then you can come back across, and 102nd and be paved one way or another. So it would be a paved road all the way back over to Etchings.
So are they just dragging their feet on doing something with the interchange?
No, the interchange, no matter what, takes 5 to 7 years, just to go through their process. What they've come down and said is until that interchange is done, we're not, and that 102nd connection's there. They have a roadway easement for the east part of 102nd. What they're saying is we will not let you connect from the street to it, nor will we let you put in like asphalt or dust control on it. So effectively meaning that Beaver Creek Estates could only develop if they, with their West Street and gravel road. What we're trying to do is to say, let us get something so that Beaver Creek Estates can develop while we're working on the interchange. They can go hand in hand. We're not necessarily pushing back on the idea that when we have better access, that 102nd probably should go away. Somebody's going to get rear ended there at some point.
So the DOT is saying that we can't pave 102nd or have any road attached to it until the interchange is done.
Essentially, that's, yeah, that paraphrasing that, but that's the basic gist of what we're saying.
And then we have,
Which is new.
No,
Never
it's
always
been
been their
new.
position, I mean.
but 102nd is annexed to us, and the north and south of 102nd is annexed to Granger?
The north-south connection,
No, just like north of 102nd, the road. Like part of that's annexed to Granger and south of that, 102nd. So I guess I'm asking, like, how does the DOT control 102nd when we get?
because it's in the DOT right away.
Okay. But it's a county road or city road?
It's a city road, but it's in, a city road in DOT right away is still under their jurisdiction.
Gotcha.
So the irony is we have to maintain it, but they control it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's the way the state law is sort of set out. So we have to plow the snow on it, and they can tell us what we can do with it. And what
Okay.
we're trying to do is to get them to say, will you let us, you know, pave over to, not all of it, but just let us get something over and let Beaver Creek Estates build their north-south street so they can get going with their development, which is what we really need to get going. We need to kick that in here. And yet they don't want the developer, right? They says, I don't really want to spend that kind of money because nobody's going to buy a lot and build a house on a gravel road. So that's the fight.
So how far does their easement go? How far does their easement go south of 141?
If you look at, there's a little access drive on the east side of Russell Myers property. It goes over to the east edge of that access drive parcel.
Where it parallels 141 before it jogs straight.
And some history on this, it's very political. Like Johnston's able to do whatever they want to do until the DOT basically what they want and it happens. Where Granger, we have to beg, borrow, and steal to get, you know, the gravel road to be able to have dust control on it. Where they're putting roads in the middle of fields that go to nowhere.
Sure.
So, and I think that's the part that the history of this whole debacle with working with the DOT, that Kurt has a little more insight than probably anybody except for Bob in here.
I just think, I just think in a very controlled way that his history, he's been to all the meetings, he's fought the battles, he's, you know, he wrote the letter to Marler, you know. So I just think that in having some continuity, rather than them being able to say, okay, here's a new guy who doesn't know anything about the 5-year history.
Right. And it just keeps happening if you don't have somebody. They keep walking over whoever, you know, new person we would have.
That's my analogy to like playing games.
Yeah. And it's not like Kurt's gonna be put in an airport or something. We're just trying to,
Well, sure.
you know, it's not,
We're just using him as a
Yeah.
backup. Yeah.
and Bob's gonna be at every meeting, so it's not like he's gonna be a loose cannon somehow, or, I don't know.
Well, you know, on occasion I've had to, he gets off, you know, even at the last meeting, it's like, he went off on a tangent, it's like, we gotta bring it back to the subject at hand, you're wandering off. The point he was making was probably okay, it just wasn't part of, it just wasn't necessarily relevant to the discussion. He was going on about how the state had approved the annexation. Well, this area is already in the city, so it's really, the annexation really didn't have a direct impact on it. So I had to kind of pull it back a little bit, and he quickly backed up and went on with the meeting, so. Anything else for me?
No, I appreciate the insight. I just don't have anything, you know, obviously being new.
Oh, I understand that, yeah.
Yeah, so I have a lot of questions.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
I just want to make sure the person at the table is not the reason why we're having issues. No.
This actually started before Kirk got
Sure.
here.
Yeah.
The other side of the table.
I feel like you being new, it's a fair question.
Oh, no, yes, that's fine, yeah. Now you understand my concern about changing people without some history. That's why I think right now, a little time to bring Cole up to speed would be beneficial. And my guess is that he'll come along in the meetings and start to come up to speed as well.
We good?
Yep.
See, now you push me past the hour.
Make a motion to authorize the mayor to appoint Kirk Bjornlund as the city's volunteer liaison to the Iowa Department of Transportation until further notice.
Second.
Okay, Paul?
Yes.
Bermal?
Yes.
Boss?
Yes.
Cheechak?
Yes.
Shriak?
Yes.
This is the first of the next set, right there.
No.
Okay. Let's see, actually.
It's the
Yeah, next we
third,
got the ordinance.
Yeah, the
you've
third
seen
reading of
twice
it.
On the city administration. So, third reading, every ordinance needs passed 3 times or second and third wave. So the final reading, if it gets approved, it gets published and goes into effect.
all right, make a motion to approve, ordinance number 441, amending the Code of Ordinances of the City of Granger, Iowa to revise the city administrator requirements, third reading.
Second.
Okay, Hall?
Yes.
Boss?
Yes.
Bermal?
No.
Cheechak?
Yes.
Shriak?
Abstain.
Brent Slough. Is that information on the Brent Slough excavator plan memorandum?
So it's never got a final number on that, because it
Right.
says there's 75 outstanding, but it doesn't say like how that's going to be divvied up.
Yeah, I think that was, they kind of asked, like, you know, what is Granger, if they want to put any to it, because I don't think you have to. I do believe we mentioned you want to be part of that. And
Yeah, so I guess my concern is if we're not at the table,
Sure.
we can get left out.
Yeah.
But it would be nice to know, like, if we do need to make some sort of monetary commitment or not. We probably have some sort of monetary commitment lost for, you know, things like this, but I still think we just need some more information.
Is that something, Christie, that,
I've been a part of a lot of this larger regional trail planning for 5 years now. We absolutely need to be at the table. And this year was finally the first year they're bringing Granger into it, and it affects Granger. And has a lot of benefits for us connecting to greater trail systems. So I absolutely recommend that you do at least be at the table and appoint someone to the table. What your monetary part is, I don't know. I recommend looking at what Grimes contributed and then making a calculation based on population. Because I don't think we should be spending as much as Grimes because they're a much larger city. So maybe something.
Well, and it comes out of
relative to our
Grimes.
side.
It gets to Granger, but it doesn't come into Granger. So
Mhm.
our benefit is going to be in the future, should there be a benefit, hopefully there is, but who knows?
Us being at the table will allow for those possibilities of having also financial benefits to it as well. Whether Polk County contributes money to improving the trails and adding them through Granger. Just hypothetical, but, because I can't speak for them or not, but that at least puts us at the table.
So they would have vested interest if they go from Rensselaer to Jester.
Jester,
because they're both
yes, and that's
Polk County parks.
that's the greater Polk County plan.
Yeah, there's a.
And it's gonna happen whether we like it or not.
It's just whether or not they bypass Granger or not.
Exactly. And
So,
I highly discourage allowing them to have the option of bypassing us.
so getting us a seat at the table is gonna cost us X number of dollars, which we still don't know what that is. But it doesn't bring anything into Granger, it brings it, what, up to 141? Is that what?
We don't know that.
So we don't know what we're paying for either. We're paying for a place at the table, but we don't know what that means. We keep saying like, we're gonna be missing out if we don't have a place at the table, but we don't even know. This is what I find frustrating, is all we know is that they want us to give money, we don't know when. We don't know when we have to pay for it, we don't know what that amount is. And just have a seat at the table that nobody is able to tell us what that looks like, what benefit that gives to us, or anything like that.
So I recommend you be proactive and give them an option and say, hey, we're willing to pay this based on what our population is and our part. Right now, the greater plans that are on paper for the greater trail plans, it does have it going through Granger and connecting to Jester and then connecting back down to Johnston. And so let's not give them the option to reroute it and say, oh, we're not going up to Granger anymore. We're just gonna reroute on the south side of 141 and go through Grimes and Johnston instead.
So you're saying being absent basically says we don't believe, we're not concerned?
Absolutely.
Yeah, but, and I don't think we have to, the way I read that email was that we don't have to give money to be at the table. They're wanting someone to be at the table.
Yes.
And I know Tyson had mentioned that he'd like to, he went to the opening and stuff, that he'd like to go to that. Because I think they want to come this way anyway. They would love to get money from us. But until we figure out long-term what's going to happen possibly with all that ground maybe over on Benevitti property, all that stuff around there, you know, we don't know if eventually you can get to that. And someone wants to develop that whole area and then the trail has a reason to come to Georgia or come to town. I don't think I can give money to have Tyson be part of this.
That's what it sounded like to me, so that's where my frustration is, like, we're paying for a seat at the table, but nobody can tell us what that is or what it looks like or anything. This is us agreeing to be a part of it and determining what that fair market price or amount is. I'm all for that, but I think we need to have more information before we commit any sort of amount of money to it.
The memorandum of understanding has a scope of what that agreement is.
Yeah, so
It says what that covers. It doesn't, it's like a plan, it's basically a board or a group created to plan.
Yeah, so they have like responsibilities for what the city of Granger would be, so it's plan development, policy discussion, provide available data plans, technical input, provide, assist with public engagement activities within the jurisdiction may review draft plan materials and provide technical feedback. So that's the, I guess, 4 listed responsibilities that they have in their contract. And then like the person that would be at the table would serve as a coordinator. I just don't know what the deal is. But, so they have a representative and that will serve as coordinator, kind of run everything. And so like in their cooperation agreement, it kind of breaks that stuff down a little bit. But it doesn't like make any sort of, guarantees or anything like that, and it's pretty broad.
And I'm not sure that I read it that if we don't give any money, we're still at the table. Because she specifically said, I haven't taken Granger out of the text of the memorandum of understanding yet. 5 weeks ago when she sent that email.
Right. Yeah.
And so the way I would read it is that if you don't contribute, you're not at least this table for the planning that's part of this memorandum of understanding. And she doesn't ever say it has to be a certain amount, so.
It says cost allocation, the parties agree to share project costs as follows.
Right, and it's all blank, so it's, if you can either put in a amount or percentage, so if you say, we'll give $10,000, they'll put $10,000 in. I don't know what the other cities did for sure, but they said a percentage or they said a dollar amount. But I'd be concerned that if you say, we don't want to give anything, then you get deleted off of the
No, I'm
memorandum of understanding.
I'm not suggesting that at all. I'm just saying we need to know what we're paying for it and how much they're expecting us to pay.
Oh, I think they'll take any dollar amount at any time. We're talking about guarantees, and there's no guarantees. I can guarantee that. They will take money anytime.
That's where you wouldn't do a percentage, you would say a dollar amount, I'll give this. They're 75 short between what they've got from Grimes and Polk County, I guess, but then they'll come up with the other money to go forward. They're not gonna drop the whole thing over that, but they're not gonna include Granger, and Granger can't come up with any money to be part of the board or whatever it's gonna be.
Tyson, would you be good going and gathering some information, being the representative, and bringing it back to us, and then we can.
I can definitely try. I mean, does it, you decide the same date and they try to get this done?
Email to Kirk on June 3rd says we would like to know by Friday at the latest. So that was 4 weeks ago.
So I'd probably just reach out to them.
I would reach out. I mean, this may already be too late. I doubt it, but
Sure.
the other cities may have already approved this, and the county approved it, and they're going forward. So, I mean, if you want to be at the table, I would reach out and get some hard information on has it gone? It's too late, or is there still time? And
Yeah, it's easy for them to jump off. I got a lot more money. We're kind of like in that mood right now. But if we get somebody to say, well, it would make more sense if I actually want to get that trail upgraded.
Right. I'll reach out. Okay, we'll know you guys.
Okay. Moving on. Oh, might as well get right to it.
My son is home from college. We have multi-generational. So when my kids are home, there's no parking in our garage, on our driveway except for 2 spots. So we had 3 extra cars today, 1 person parked on the street. We would have been in trouble in front of our own house on a Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. What I would like to have done, and we're predicting something that we have not yet experienced with Sycamore and the new middle school. I think right now, we're jumping the gun, and I would like to have a traffic study done to justify shutting off parking on a residential street. Our street is no less narrow in our stretch than the new residential neighborhoods are. The only problem that is an issue is Lowell and south to State Street, where it has not yet been paved. That we lived there for almost 20 years with a Seal Cove Road, parked on the side, not one incident, not one. And sometimes we bring our vehicles out because we're doing stuff in our garage, and we need our vehicles out of the way, so we use our curb to park. I would like a study done. I think that's reasonable, since this is a new area that we're entering into. Not in favor of losing our privilege to park on our property, which we got 20 years ago.
I guess my biggest point
And
is
we're
very
not-
rarely do, right?
Very rarely. I mean, we
But
live
just like-
there on that street forever, and rarely do you see someone parking on that west side. It is really a non-issue. It
Now, on
really
the
is.
other side of the street, I'm 1000% for it, you know.
Yeah,
You know.
you're not gonna be parking on both sides, absolutely not. I don't think that's reasonable in any neighborhood. So, yeah, I would like a study done, so that I can better understand why that needs to be put in place. Because right now, I'm just not buying into it, that it's an issue, because I live on that street. If anything, the issue is speed. That's the issue. That's the bigger safety issue than parking, is the speeding on Central.
And not stopping at stop signs.
Yeah, and not, they're absolutely going through the four-way
Yeah.
stop, absolutely, absolutely. And children who like to go down the middle of the road, but they're having fun and they're outside, so, but yeah. That's just my statement here, and I do speak for my neighbors that aren't here. I will canvass on down between Lowell and Street if I need to, and talk with people, and open up discussion with them and see what their thoughts are.
Where do you live at again, sorry?
We are at the end of Sycamore. We're 20, yeah, second to last. We're the 3-car garage, 2-story house. Green, dark doors, can't miss it, we're on the middle. We used to be able to see the school.
It was just stuff that happened, you know,
So
leave the car
we've never had an issue.
and not take it back, you know, within a time period, a ticket or something.
Yeah, because we didn't get home to our car because something happened, and
It's worse than having to rush home and let a dog out, run home and have to move your car.
And you'd like to see parking on both sides?
no.
Yeah,
No,
there,
no, no. The sidewalk sign, there should be absolutely no parking at all, period. And my big
Yeah.
argument with that is a safe passageway for those children who are being bused from Woodward to the middle school, or the children that are walking, or just as much as that is used, I love seeing that happening being used as much as it is. It is so awesome. Yeah, no parking on that side, ever, 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 ever. And we already have a snow ordinance. If there's ever a vehicle out there, we move it. I mean, not that I can think we ever have to move one, but we're aware of that as anybody else is in town. We need to do it.
So you would like to see parking on the west side still?
Yeah, we're in front of, yeah.
Based on the new light.
The new live park.
Because otherwise, we're going like almost 2 blocks away. You know, you have family over.
And you don't like the idea of having a time like parking?
You, 975, like I said today,
And like right now, school's not even in session, so.
Sure.
We still couldn't even park in front of.
we wouldn't have been able to park, we would have had to have my son's friend park somewhere else, or we play the, you know, shuffle the car game, and we park our car somewhere else, and then so that we can let them park in our driveway. And that just happened, that was like at 3:55, he got there today. And yeah, school's not in.
We haven't even seen what this new
We don't know what it's
school
gonna look
is
like, actually.
really. We haven't even seen what that's going to look like yet.
Right now, it's just construction vehicles you see. Yeah, well, a lot, but we don't know what that's gonna, I don't think it's really, yeah, there'll be the morning rush, and there'll be the afternoon rush.
least I can speak for us, and honestly, 80% of the time, I hate to leave the cars on the street anyway.
Oh, yeah.
We don't, but quite frankly, this is being told, you never can, you know, that just limits your life, frankly. The way you can do it in your own house, or
Where, you know,
couldn't even, like, I come home early the day to mow, and I put the car in the street to get my tractor out to mow, that would have been, you know, that just seems unreasonable to me.
Well, if we take action to close parking on the east side of the street, and then this time next year, Joe tells us that we had 17 accidents and 3 people hit, we'll know it's an issue, right? So,
Absolutely, and
yeah.
I would say 1,000% I was wrong.
I mean, the study can work itself over the next year and a half, and there's nothing suggesting that we can't amend the ordinance at that point in time.
We defer this until we see what happens? Yeah, right, is that what you're saying?
I was just gonna.
Part, you can approve the.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say.
Side.
Just take off the last part of the sentence and just stop parking on the east side of the road, Finn.
Perfect, because I don't think anybody should.
So the idea was to get in place before school year started. You
Right.
have one more meeting
Right.
before school year starts. You have to pass it 3 times.
Yeah.
So you either have to waive something or not have it in place before then.
Yeah, I don't get anything on this.
Can we put something in there that once the school fires up, if it becomes an issue, we can?
You just have to amend your ordinance
Yeah.
again.
And then a month and a half later, 2 months max, maybe if we waive second and third reading, just 1 meeting and it's done. So,
I mean, if anybody's gonna know the influx in traffic, what it looks like, we live there,
right.
you know? And you're
Right.
saying we're the best witness you can have.
I think the concern is more if it is a problem, it takes a little bit to get it solved.
Oh, if I see something awful, I will for sure be calling Christie. I'll call the city, she will know. She knows, I call all the time when my kids are little, and traffic wasn't the speeding line. I was like, I got little impulsive children, please stop this. I'll call.
When are they planning on doing like the work right now? That's still waiting down the road.
That's until someone decides to resolve it.
Yeah.
I guess, I mean, we can say, well, let's wait and see how it goes. I don't know that that's such a great program. I mean, yeah, I realize there's an issue with being able to park there or not park there, but there's gonna be way more traffic going north of town in the morning, big buses going, which we don't have, you know.
So why is that our problem? We were there first, we've been there, I mean, we've been pretty good through this whole project, I feel.
Yeah, I'm not
Pretty
saying.
tolerant. I mean, the buses can go down 17, come down the gravel.
Sure, but they're not going to.
Probably be safer than going through town anyways.
And what about, let's talk about State Street by the ELC, where the buses go every day, and there's parking on both sides of the street, and the buses have to come in and out of there. But why is there parking allowed here at all on State Street then? Where the buses come in and out of the ELC and drop off.
Truth be told, I think this entire experience is going to be learning for the entire community. Having it that big of a school, that proximity to Granger proper. No one knows what to expect yet. Everybody has ideas, but no one knows what this is actually going to look like. So,
Ultimately, you know, most of that is because middle schoolers are far more, you know, trusted and allowed to go, you know, they're given scooters and whatever to see ya. And I'd be curious, what do you know what the population of that middle school is gonna be? Anybody? Right, and how many kids we're gonna have out there?
it's going to be 3 classes.
200, I'd say maybe 300. Would it be about 300?
I mean, I'd be curious to see how those kids do hop on scooters that are heading out there or anything.
Yeah.
That was the concern that they expressed also from the school was, will those kids be educated and put on the path? Or are they gonna leave that middle school, come around that roundabout,
concern.
Okay, well, we've had
No,
the
this is
construction, and now you're
lifetime.
saying this for the rest
This
of
is
our
for,
lives
this
too.
is for the remainder of our property ownership.
And how often do you think you park in the street?
Very seldom.
Very seldom, so that's.
But the
point.
time that we do need it, like today, my son's friend would have been in trouble for a one-off. And that's all of Sycamore. Do you agree? How often are people parking on the street? I do care about all of Sycamore because very rarely are people parking on Sycamore, is the thing. Very rarely do they park on Sycamore. It's like during the church service, like when, in the fish fry, you will see traffic back up, parking elsewhere. That's about the biggest time is when there's a church event going on, something happening there, and you see people parking on Sycamore. They just don't. They stay in their driveways.
And also, I can also see the school being concerned too, because obviously the school's had an incident before, where someone has died.
That was in a parking. I do know what you mean. That was
So when the
tragic.
school's in session, we anticipate no
I would
one's
hate
gonna
to
park
have
in
to
on that
wait for
street.
that to happen. for the sign. I'm not saying
When the
we're going to
school's
put a
in
sign.
session,
Well, I would hope
we
the
anticipate
child
there
is
won't be any
not walking
parking.
in front of my
People are
house.
just gonna know not to park there. I'm just curious.
And that would be anywhere in town, your child could be.
I don't see
That
signs,
was also the junior
I don't
high.
park there.
I know. and
I
it's
don't
in the
know.
parking lot.
She's like, I get that.
Can I say a
What
couple
about when the
things?
school's in session?
I completely understand your guys' frustration. I'm looking at the safety aspect. From what I've heard, the school is not gonna have a shuttle from the ELC and the elementary to the middle school. So any kids that need to go to the other school, they're gonna be walking.
Then what if we put in that path? If you-
Correct.
They're gonna be walking down the street.
And I understand the wait and see, but I don't want to wait and see when somebody's kid. I was the first time seeing it in Woodward, and I've been there, and I don't want to do that again. So anytime that somebody can say no parking, I'm 100% in favor of what comes to that, kids' safety. And I understand your frustration.
That's anywhere in town, kids are walking to a school. I'm not like.
But when it's closer to the school, you got more volume of kids.
Yeah, it's
right?
And that's what I'm talking
It's
about.
a huge path.
And that's what I'm talking about. When people are coming to parent pickup in Lakecrest, there's no parking on streets. And you've got kids leaving home, school from the elementary, from the ELC. So let's just shut all the parking off because we are a tiny little town, about half a mile by a three-quarter of a mile, and that is it. And if there is a school here, and a school up there, so maybe there should be no signs for parking in all of Berkshire. If that's the argument.
We can do that then. Like everywhere.
Yeah, I'm a little frustrated by this. I am. Because the one-off that we park in the streets, we're not even gonna be able to do that on our own.
Well, we're gonna have to decide if you want to be all of it, be part of it, or what you guys want to do.
Oh, I would suggest just shutting off east side.
Okay. So if he wants to go ahead and read that, he just needs to get 3 people to say shut off the east side and not go, or does everybody have to be in agreement that they would just want to read that part?
So he can
He
make.
just wants to shut off.
I can make
You have
whatever
three
motion I
options.
want.
You kind of have 3 options, yeah. You
Yeah.
can make a motion to approve, ordinance 445 draft that was presented, except strike. paragraph
And on the west side,
21
yeah.
That deals with that side. And then there would be a second, and then there would be discussion by the council, not the public, on that, and a vote to approve or not. And if that passed, then that's the first reading, then you have to decide, do you wait till next month for second reading, or if it doesn't pass and somebody else wants to make a motion to, whoever makes the first motion can go first.
I guess what was the original ask?
They wanted everything shut down.
And that was the school?
I think public safety, everybody, school, everyone, want it all shut.
Superintendent would like to see it, no parking on both sides.
Yeah.
That was just a conversation after the last meeting.
Can there be, let's take it another step forward. I've seen these signs in locations in Des Moines, where it's from certain hours in the morning, and it's open again certain hours in the afternoon. I mean, I know we still have to play.
School's out at 3:30, you just said you had a car parked at 3:30, so that.
Yeah, I said it was at 3:55. It was at 3:55.
Bus routes aren't done running until after 4 o'clock.
I guess we'll make a motion for whatever you want to make it for, we'll see what you guys vote on.
I don't know, sometime we'll split time.
The only problem with that is there's activities at night. I mean, the issue isn't trying to pick on homeowners. The issue is safety throughout the increased traffic on that street. You know, if you want to not have it in the summertime, or not have it during breaks, I'm okay with that, but, when you say not till, what was it, 7 or 5 p.m., well, if they have a concert, there's people going in and out all the time, it's dark.
Why do we have to change our ordinance? We did
I just feel like we're gonna be living in a town.
Well, when you bought your property, you bought it knowing there was an easement in front of
We
it.
didn't, exactly. We didn't do that.
You didn't know there was an easement in front of the
There's an
property?
easement, but not, we didn't know there would never be parking allowed in front of our house 20 years ago.
Guess as a homeowner, I understand that anything that happens between that easement line is pretty much no say of mine. And I'm neutral on this. It doesn't make a difference to me. I'm gonna go with what the experts say. And right now I'm hearing that it's a safety issue.
Let's go to the first one, make a motion, read it however you want.
We'll make a motion to take action on ordinance number 445, establishing parking restrictions on Sycamore Street, prohibiting parking on the east side from State Street to the new school, and on the west side from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., Monday through Friday.
Second.
Okay, Shryock,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Bermal,
No.
Boss,
No.
Cheechak.
No.
Okay, now can I make a motion to read it the other way, just on the other side? Or is it just tabled for the next month?
We just killed it.
Somebody can make a motion, or otherwise it can be, you can put it back on the agenda next month, however you want.
Does anybody want to make a motion to do the east side now, or are we just gonna?
Do we have to make a motion to amend it, or can we just read it? Is it still ordinance number 445?
Yeah, it's just a draft, it's not, you can just
Okay.
say revive the draft as presented, except
Okay.
not including.
All right. I will make a motion to approve ordinance number 445, establishing parking restrictions on Sycamore Street, prohibiting parking on the east side from State Street to the new school, and striking and on the west side between 7 a.m. and 5 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Second.
Okay, Hall,
Yes.
Cheechak,
Yes.
Shryock,
No.
Bermal,
No.
Boss.
No.
Okay. That's struck down too.
Moving on.
I guess you can park there.
Oh, this one's the Broadway Street project. I feel like we've talked about this 100 times. I've seen it like this for 20 years. Just nothing's being done with that building, just storage. What legally can we do now? I want to know.
Yep, so you and I need to get together and write an order to the homeowner.
Okay.
So let's get a hold of me, set up a
Yep.
meeting, and we'll draft because by the ordinances, it comes from the mayor, so awesome, we can get together and do it.
Great. Okay, Joe?
Is that homeowner or is this a commercial property?
Or the property owner.
Okay.
Property owner,
Okay.
yeah, it's commercial.
Anything we can do, I've had a couple conversations this week, there is a current business owner in town that would love to purchase that building and do something with it.
I've heard that for 20 years.
Yeah, exactly.
If we get a blighted building moved and
Yep.
get something in it, it'd be fantastic.
Okay, Joe, last month you brought the Dallas County had offered to give us a couple of license plate
It would
readers.
still be their readers.
Yes,
This place in
yes.
town.
Give me theirs, and I said, we just bring it back, everybody do their own research, get figured out if that's something you'd be for or against. We've had a few people, I think, speaking out against, and I do believe, yep, go ahead.
Where would they be put, Joe?
I'm sorry.
Where would they be put?
State would be one of them, and then we try to get one where we can see Highway 17.
So basically 141 and or Casey's and Highway 7.
Then you can't be on
So nothing
state
in
property.
town.
Yeah, you can't be on state property. They can be close in town, but mostly facing highways. And I did check into the hacking thing. They're on the FBI server. If anybody did hack it, they're just gonna get pictures of license plates. So it's really nothing that they're gonna gain access to. There's no personal information on there. And the stuff is just stored for 90 days and deleted.
Was it 90?
Okay.
Address that, but that's what they said, but it hasn't actually been true. Kind of going much good here, forgive my voice a bit here.
Have my phone, but, oh, sorry, can you go ahead and say your name for?
Oh, yeah, Marty Price, but the flock cameras that are being proposed aren't really just traditional license plate readers that flag stolen vehicles or anything like that. They're AI-powered systems that log every vehicle that passes, plate number, make, model, color, dents, dings, bumper stickers, what have you, and feed that information into a shared searchable nationwide database that police departments across the country can access, including federal agencies, etc. This isn't a security cam watching the parking lot, it's infrastructure for tracking people's movements day and night without a warrant and without them. While it is often claimed that these cameras can only be accessed or searched for authorized law enforcement purposes, that hasn't really been the reality. In January 2026, researchers discovered that more than 60 flock camera systems around the country were completely exposed to the internet. Using nothing more than a simple Google search, you could access the feed live and after 30 days of storage. Some other notable incidents included independent security researchers finding some of these cameras transmitting logging credentials in plain unencrypted text, meaning anybody with a radio transmitter could sit outside hundreds of feet away and intercept traffic. Flock has told the public that footage is automatically deleted after 7 days or whatever they're claiming now. Researchers using those exploits when they proven found images that had been on the system since before the cameras were installed. In other words, the privacy promises these companies made really aren't backed up by what the technology actually does. These aren't hypothetical risks, these are the breaches that have already happened. I'm a software developer, I've interacted with many of these companies, these tech disrupting kind of fly by the seat of their pants companies. They want to come into a space, they want to disrupt things, move fast, make money, they don't really care about what they break in the meantime. Privacy and public safety stuff is not really a sector I feel should be treated like a tech startup and just really run with it and see what works. And unfortunately, it's not just hackers that we've had to worry about this with, it's the misuse of this data by the people that are supposed to be trusted with it. Just yesterday, it was announced that 5 police officers in Georgia were fired and facing criminal charges for improperly using the system. Another sheriff's deputy in Florida was arrested and charged with using them to track to stalk a woman that he had met on the set of some show that he was working security for. And then other research has showed that there was over 1.6 million improper queries by federal agencies or various alphabet agencies requesting improper records that were in violation of different state privacy laws. So this is unfortunately as limited as they can. In one town, it was limited, they have the option to supposedly limit it to the statements only, that setting got flipped back to full national searchable without anybody being notified. They didn't find out until months later. So we don't really know how widespread this issue is. This is just some of the situations that we know about. And because of that, since 2021, 82 flock contracts have been terminated across 28 states. 39 of those have been in the first half of this year. there's a long list of communities that have tried this technology, saw what happened, and decided the risk of invasion of privacy wasn't worth it. While there are a smattering of cases that can be pointed to, and these cameras have helped solve the case quicker, I haven't seen anything that has been a case that has been solved by flock cameras and only been able to be solved because of those cameras. This is simply a tool that makes investigations easier, not actually improve or solve them. I don't believe that we should be handing over our daily movements to a private company's nationwide database for this small potential benefit. I don't want to trade our privacy for the supposed promise of safety that this company's own track record really hasn't shown. I would encourage us to follow 82 towns that have already looked down this road, figured out it was not worth it, and found out.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else?
So these aren't flock cameras. These are through Motorola. These are not shared. The only people that have access to this, it goes to Dallas County. Even if I wanted access to this, I had to fill out paperwork to request access. It's like if I wanted to do a criminal history on somebody, I have to have a reason to go in there and look at it. It's secure. And the only people that have access to it is in Dallas County with approval, going through a process like a form to fill out saying, hey, I need this time and this vehicle. And it's not sold or it's not shared like the flock cameras. They're all on a big database system where you can type in and get from all different cities and stuff. This is completely separate and different.
Okay, anything else? Anyone else with correspondence? I know my neighbor, I believe, sent an email separately to everyone. Did everybody get that email?
Yes.
Yes. I also think the Motorola cameras are like one of the easier ones to hack, actually. It's like 30 seconds to hack those things. Also, that information still has to be housed on a server, which is going to be a third party. So there is going to be an external company that houses all that data, and there's no guarantee from that third party either. So, I mean, that's my information too, along with.
If we got written correspondence, why does this thing working? Does somebody need to read the highlights of that person's correspondence for the record, or?
You all have it though.
Yes.
You received it.
Okay. It's for us a lot of the same thing that you're talking about right now. Tyson, the same thing as you. So I guess, yep.
Not as an employee, but as a citizen. Have any of you actually reached out to Dallas County Sheriff's Office IT and requested information from them and for them to explain the system and the cameras?
I guess last meeting I requested someone to give us that information.
You requested from who?
Joe?
Okay. I mean, but nobody's actually spoken with Dallas County IT department.
Not the IT department. I spoke to sheriff next one.
Oh,
Not
just
remember.
general knowledge question.
Right,
Just
yeah.
asking
Yep.
if you're seeking the information.
Yep.
Just working in the IT space, if it's there, you have to assume it will be hacked at some point in time. And unfortunately, these cameras have largely been shown to have those issues, partially because they're in a public location by default. So you can gain physical access to them, which takes half the difficulty out of the equation of breaking into them. It's just kind of how it is. I don't, like I said, I personally don't see the benefit outweighing the privacy risks and just unnecessariness of them.
Okay. Again, it's on the agenda. Dallas County offered it. Anyone wants to make a motion, or you can just, they can just pass it on, defer it, or?
Nobody makes a motion, it just fails for lack of a motion.
Yep,
Sure.
You guys' decision.
I'm not gonna make a motion either way, so.
Okay. Okay, moving on. Okay.
So you just want me to tell them we're not interested?
What?
You just want me to tell them we're not interested?
Yep.
Perfect.
Let's see. Oh, anything else? Joe?
I was maybe through the 4th for a gig. I don't know if you guys were in town on July 4th, but Granger showed up. There were a lot of fireworks in town. a lot of fireworks. I was very impressed. I don't know if it's because the 4th was on Saturday or what, but, and they were done mostly by 11 o'clock. There was a couple stragglers, but they were done pretty quick.
All fingers into this.
Yeah.
And they didn't go on for 15 days before and a couple days
Yeah,
after. I
you
mean,
know, we just had a couple of calls before.
yep.
I think giving them the time to actually shoot them off kind of stops that before and after.
Good, Joe?
Good.
Okay.
The only thing I've got, so we're starting a firefighter 1 and hazmat class internally. So we've got 5 members doing that, and then it's going to be all internal instructors. So we'll start that next week and go till the end of October.
So you have 5 people?
Yep. So, Chief.
I just want to bring forward that we had 28 calls last month. 18 of them were EMS, 4 were water rescue or MBC, 6 fire, 100% response. Are paid on call. So if you know anybody that wants to drive an ambulance, that would be helpful. And so far, we calculated our response rate for the year. We have 96% call response for the year, and the ones that we have missed, we've had a driver or firefighter or an EMT show up, but we didn't have the second person to transport. So missed 7 out of 167, I don't think is doing too bad.
Okay, looks like we're looking to hire someone?
Yes, Nate is going through the Urbandale Academy Fire 1, and he's a part-time EMT military veteran and is willing to pick up shifts as needed for part-time.
Okay, can I get a motion?
Motion to approve the hiring of Nate Nolan as part-time EMT at $18 an hour, effective immediately, pending background check and drug screen results.
Second.
Okay, Hall?
Yes.
Schrock?
Yes.
Bermal?
Yes.
Voss?
Yes.
Cheechak?
Yes.
Got a bidder.
Got a bidder. I had 2 bids on our life pack. One was for 7,000, one was for 10,000, and the third person never responded with an actual number, just had questions. So it's ready. He's ready to come pick it up if you guys approve me to go ahead and sell it for $10,000. He'll be here tomorrow.
Make a motion to approve Life Pack 15 bid from Glenwood Fire Department in the amount of $10,000.
Second.
Okay, Schrock?
Yes.
Hall?
Yes.
Bermal?
Yes.
Voss?
Yes.
Cheechak?
Yes.
Sorry.
What were you guys trying to do?
10,000.
I believe we talked about the Kawasaki before, that's a
Jet ski.
donation, correct? And we just sent it for our trailer situation.
Yeah, so we talked to the auxiliary. They're willing to pay up to potentially 800. If that doesn't work out, then we'll do fundraising for it. We've got quite a few bodies of water within our response area. We've had 5 water rescues, and then tonight an additional 6. It'll help us just be able to respond more, especially with the ponds being in town, not having to wait for mutual aid. With the jet ski, it's easier it's more mobile, right? So we can bring the trailer up, drop it in the pond, and respond from there. Insurance will be about 180 a month for the year, and then it's $1 for the program for a year, and then we can trade it out for a new one every year. We're going with 1. Well, if it's approved, going with 1. Just to make sure that we're doing the right thing, making sure that we're that we're using it to our capabilities. So if it goes well, then maybe we can get 2. Chief Sock is kind of the leader behind this. He wants to make sure this program comes to head. He's going to hold a class on July 25th. If we get 12 responders, which I think we're pretty darn close, we'll be able to get 12 people certified in that, and then those individuals will respond.
If I remember correctly, we're just going to trade this in every year, so we don't have to pay for any of the winterization, or just drag it back to Hicklin or wherever we're getting it from, Struthers, I guess.
And the one unit will be a lot easier to store, so we can store it across the street.
Is there any other equipment or anything that needs to be purchased for this?
So we do have life jackets, rope. To be honest, I think we should be pretty good. We might have to get some additional rope or maybe a life craft of some sort, but it should be minimal.
And then you said the certification is there a cost? Is there like
It's free. Yeah.
So the only, I guess, expectation from the city would be just the $800?
No, we're gonna fundraise it. It'd be the insurance of $180.
A year?
Yeah. Yep. And then I guess the trailer insurance if you're insuring the trailer. Couple bucks.
What do our surrounding communities have by way of this same type of program?
Yeah, so Polk City's got a boat, Ankeny's got a Zodiac, Johnson Grimes has 2 jet skis. So how it works is when there's what's called a wet rescue on Saylorville, we respond to Lincoln Access, which is right by the bridge. Polk City responds to the marina. Johnson Grimes goes down to
Acorn?
Yeah, Acorn. And then Ankeny responds to Cherry Glen. The idea is to have all the responders on all 4 corners of the lake so you can see, and then we can respond. Right now, Polk City is coming across if there's something north of the bridge or closer to the bridge, or if we have anything up in Jester Park, Polk City brings their boat there.
Another question, a couple months ago, it was brought up that we no longer had a boat, and that was an extreme surprise to several of us on council. What happened to the boat? Would the boat have satisfied this type of program in the past?
The boat was not here when I got here, so I don't know.
Touche, okay.
Boat never had a motor.
Boat was part of that DNR program. And where they got the truck.
Oh, yeah, sorry, we did get a boat, but we had to get a...
There was no motor.
There was no motor with the boat for the DNR.
Oh.
So it sat out in Woodward for a year and never was used.
Where's it at now?
Woodward.
Back with the DNR.
DNR's got it.
So what do you do now for water rescue?
Stand on the shore and wait for someone to respond.
So then that's when, so if it was like, go over the bridge, Polk City has to come over,
Yep,
and then they pull down and we transport them?
Yep.
Right now, currently?
yep.
There was a time that we had a water rescue where it was our area and the DNR picked up a couple of our EMS and took them out into with the DNR boat to search. But that would have been time that if we had our jet ski, we could have used them.
The nice thing about a jet ski is it can get a lot shallower water, right? So you can get to places that maybe a boat can't get to.
And like, this is something like we've already been like approved for then, or like you just apply to get it kind of thing?
Yeah, once you guys approve it, we'll fill out the paperwork.
The jet ski approval
Yeah.
thing, Rob had to fill out some paperwork
Yeah.
through a program. They approved it.
All right. Make a motion to approve. Wait, hold on. Oh, sorry, check this one off. Make a motion to approve for the establishment of a water rescue program in partnership with Kawasaki Public Safety Law Loan Program.
Second.
Kayak,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Bermal,
Yes.
Haas,
Yes.
Chichak.
Yes.
I have one question.
Yeah.
So how long is like the program, like is there an end date after?
So it's every year annually, so we get a new one every year.
Right, so do you have to like do you have to reapply every year, or is it just like ongoing until you decide you don't want to do it anymore kind of thing? Or is it like?
I think you have to fill out the paperwork every year.
Sure.
So I'm assuming next year we'll bring you the paperwork again and Mayor Rob to sign.
Sure. I just didn't know if like, say next year they decline us and now we just have to figure it kind of.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't think, I think.
Yeah, I think it'd be hard now to want to decline us. I suppose he kind of went through the scenarios Rob probably did with him, like, hey, we're standing at the shore with a flare gun, and that's all we're doing. So hopefully that's why we got it, and hopefully we can continue keeping it. So thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
It's you.
Oh, you ready for me? Before we do any action items, I do have an emergent issue to bring up that just happened this last weekend.
Is it the rain? It's the rain.
It's the rain.
It's the rain.
And the flooding. So our little retention area up at 26 Acre Park, we have some minimal erosion control going on there. The flooding ruined it. So we need more extensive erosion control done there. At a minimum, riprapping around the retention pond. I quote saying a pond because it's not actually draining anywhere. We did get a budgetary estimate, and that will cost around $25,000 to do more riprapping around the pond. We are in a flood watch right now again, so it's likely going to get even worse. So not an action to take right now, but I am likely going to need to put it up for public bid to get some bids in for the job to be done. I am not budgeted for it, so I may be asking for the funding out of lost funds. So just to make you aware. Yes.
Comment not to you, but why does the city have to pay every time we have something like this happen? It seems like, who's designing this? Because I've walked up there, I've walked up the trail and looked, and it's all washed out, and there were 2 retaining fences in front of, but it's washed out in like 5 or 6 different places. It almost washed the road out. I mean, if it's to the road, and it's like, who's designing this to, I mean, that's what it's designed for, is to hold the water and let it out, and anyway, that's my rant.
Yeah. From what I understand, the original engineering designs for 26 Acre Park were just rough concepts. They didn't account for the water drainage that we would have to take on because the school's engineering designs and construction did not have enough water drainage management in it, so we had to take on a bigger part for water management.
So we're taking off, like, off the road?
I'm not an expert on this.
No, I'm
sorry.
not either. And I'm not holding you to that either.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'll explain it. So when we got the 26 acres, there was a issue about field space. That was the big push. The way the field sat, you couldn't do anything with it. So a plan was put in place of, basically it was a preliminary budget to say, hey, what's it going to cost to make this usable for the next 5-10 years, get some natural grass out there, do whatever we need to do to where we have fields for our children.
Right.
That came back with basically get it 95% graded to where you could go either direction, whether it be a big building, turf fields, or the big $12 million project they wanted to do. It was very close to making any of that work. When designing that and doing all the storm runoff calcs, because there's a parking lot account there, and then your impervious surface, you've got to account for what can absorb whatnot. We noticed that the school and the east-west road had not accounted for any of the watershed coming off that. So if you look at their little water puddle on the south side of their road, that thing should have been 4 or 5 times the size. There should have been pipes underneath the road with intakes coming off the field that we graded.
There's hardly any water in that.
Right.
After 11 inches.
So when we brought them the plans, they didn't want to address it and basically said it's the city's problem to deal with the water because it's your water, even though they're the ones that changed the elevations and pinned us in a corner. So that's why the pond got so big, and why it's so deep is because we were doing everything possible to account for what their project created and what they didn't want to handle.
That was nice of us.
Yeah.
But now we're in a situation where we have 26 acres that we have no money to do anything with and develop.
We have money. We just got to play our cards, and nobody wants to play their cards over the last 12 months or 6 months, whatever it's been, 6 months.
What cards do we have to play?
There's 30,000 yards of dirt sitting up there that goes to fill in the kidney bean property that you can list, or you can sell the topsoil pile that's up there for $2-3 a yard. There's another 30 grand.
But 30 grand isn't gonna do anything. I mean, 26 acres, 30 grand isn't gonna develop that.
We're not trying to develop the 26. That was never the goal. The goal was to get grass established for soccer and whatever other sports can use it as practice to give relief on our other fields that are in dire need.
but we just seeded it with stuff that's gonna be shin high ideally, and it costs 25,000? And now we think 30,000 is gonna make this so it can be soccer fields and stuff like that? I don't see.
I never said it was gonna be 30,000. I said you had 30,000 yards worth of dirt up there that you can take to the kidney bean property that was appraised at $300,000.
Okay.
So get the 30,000 yards of dirt from there to the kidney bean, get it marketed, or don't even do that. Market it with a finished product and say, you buy this for $300,000. Here's what it's going to look like. Here's the already proven plan of a footprint of a parking lot. That work will be done before you take possession. Then you're not out any cash other than maybe for a 60-day closing period. I've been pushing on this for the last 18 months.
What's the kidney bean property?
No,
No, that's
the one on
triangle.
Sturgeon, the one that has
Yeah.
I guess the kidney bean.
Yeah.
Oh, that one,
So yeah, you can generate $350,000 pretty easily out of that property.
The main problem is that we're stuck with a retention pond that has been, for all intents and purposes, broken.
There's
for-
not much dirt in it. There's
Yeah.
maybe 10 dump
Well,
trucks.
it's not broken, but it does need, like she says, it does need repaired.
Yeah.
I don't know what our guys can do on some of that.
Wasn't it designed that way? It was designed just to hold a little bit of water, then it runs out. It was never designed.
Well, that low spot where it is, there's supposed to be a weir wall that goes there.
Right, I was told, yeah.
But given the intake and everything else that was going on with the school, we couldn't predetermine what that was going to be because of it.
So the water from that road goes east-west, goes onto our property? Or goes to our pond? I don't think it can.
No,
I
everything
think
north
it comes
goes
from the
down.
northwest and then comes down southeast and goes over the
Yeah.
road.
But their road.
The way their road was, the way they built their road would have created a dam and backed water up onto our property prior to us creating it. Now it's all shaped to where a majority of it comes to our detention pond.
And when we get 11 inches over 2 nights, it just blows up.
Yeah, but they need to design it for that. I mean, that's why I'm not designing it, because I'm not an expert or.
I do have a solution for that, and that's one of the potential engineering projects for University of Iowa this fall, or spring, is a completely new engineering drawing based on what we have now at the 26-acre park to manage all that. But those deliverables will not come until end of spring semester.
And they're not gonna be free.
They are, that's part of our
No, the
partnership.
plans are gonna be free, but the building is not gonna be
Oh,
free.
constructing it, no.
Right.
I have funding opportunities at least for the pond, going for the DNR REAP grant to
There you
turn
go.
that into a fishing pond. So that's something actionable we can take for the first phase, yeah.
Okay, so we're going to.
But I need engineering designs to go after that grant.
So what do you need from these guys moving forward? Just to check that out up there, and you're gonna bring something back?
Yes.
About
I will
$25,000 to
bring
your
back
bracket.
some sealed bids for completing.
But
the
do we know who
original
did the original?
The original grading?
No, the original, like, put
Erosion
up the silt
control?
fence, all that stuff, like what Jody said, why do we get?
Constructs?
Blue marble.
Okay.
Oh,
Somebody won the quote.
Was that?
Somebody won the bid or
Right,
whatever.
that's what I'm saying, so.
Yeah. I can't remember who it was.
Okay. We'll look into that. Kelly Owen?
Yes, so, I do not have a parks laborer anymore. I have fired him, so I found a replacement. This is Kelly Owen. He's actually our previous police chief. He's retired now. That's why he has to go through the full hiring process again, because he was retired. So he's just fishing right now and would love to sit on a mower for 30 hours a week and can commit to the full 30 hours a week. So I'd love to bring him on. He has also done previous pickup work for Public Works in the past, doing mowing and snow removal, so he's already fully aware with all of our equipment and what he needs to do, so.
I'll make a motion to approve the hiring of Kelly Owen as Parks laborer at $19 an hour, 30 hours a week through August 31st, 2026.
October.
Or October 31st, 2026, effective immediately, pending background check and drug screen results.
Second.
Okay, Shriak,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Bermal,
Yes.
Boss,
Yes.
Chichak.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and talk to them as well.
So Barrett Thompson is a construction company owner. He lives here in Granger. He does have some community service hours that he needs to complete. It's not anything nefarious. It was a dumb mistake, first time offense. He has some community service hours to do. I do have some projects for labor that I would love for him to do if you guys agree. So he will be providing his own insurance through his company, and he has provided a certificate of insurance.
Certificate, yeah.
Yep, he'd be using his own equipment through his business. It's essentially like we're using him as a contractor, but he's volunteering those hours for labor. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that legally. I'm not sure. Is that okay for me to say?
Yeah.
Okay. So the project that we have identified for him to do is preparing for the new batting cage. This batting cage currently that's over at CCRA, we're going to completely tear that out and remove it. And the 2 trees that are next to the batting cage right now also need to be completely removed. So that is the labor and work that he would be doing. Any questions on that?
Do we have plans to replant the trees? I know one's an oak tree, but another one's upgrade.
No, they're dying. They're dead. They're not salvageable. I had our tree guy come out and evaluate them. Yeah, our tree guy. They're the smaller one that is just in front of the batting cage. That's going to get moved over closer to behind the dugout. And the big one that is on the end, that's staying. So I'm going to shift the batting cage back so that we don't affect those 2 trees that are on the front side of the batting cage.
All right, make a motion to approve Barrett Thompson to provide 40 hours of voluntary community service labor under the supervision of his assigned parole officer pending background check and drug screening results.
Second.
Okay, Hall,
Yes.
Boss,
Yes.
Bermal,
Yes.
Chichak,
Yes.
Shriak.
Yes.
Thank you.
Ranger Days coming up. So I just going through the approvals of closing streets down, and
Yeah.
it's our normal yearly closing streets, and just approving the 5K and parade routes, which are the exact same as last year.
All right, motion to approve the 5K walk, run, bike, and parade routes.
Second.
Okay, Hall,
Yes.
Boss,
Yes.
Bermal,
Yes.
Chichak,
Yes.
Shriak.
Yes.
All right, motion to authorize Bud's Pub to close the street from State Street to the edge of Bob Gross's building on Main Street for Granger Day, starting noon on Friday, August 28th through noon on Sunday, August 30th for band performances.
Second.
Okay, Hall,
Yes.
Boss,
Yes.
Bermal,
Yes.
Chichak,
Yes.
Shriak.
Yes.
Motion to approve closing Rose Street from intersection of West and Broadway Streets to State Street from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. on Saturday, August 29th.
Second.
Okay, Hall,
Yes.
Boss,
Yes.
Bermal,
Yes.
Chichak,
Yes.
Shriak.
Yes.
And motion to approve closing Sycamore Street from State to Broadway Streets from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturday, August 29th for the community and fire EMS water fights.
Second.
Okay, Hall,
Yes.
Boss,
Yes.
Bermal,
Yes.
Chichak,
Yes.
Shriak.
Yes.
Transferring of money
What's
back
that?
and forth for the next one.
Oh, yeah, so, every year I do this resolution. These items are technically already budgeted, or I do a budget amendment for. However, I just do interloan transfers of sums of money at the end of the year for items that have happened. There were projects that didn't get done at the end of the year. I'm not gonna transfer anything in and out. So I like to do this resolution every year, so it just shows what we have actually done transfers on. So, I can go through them if you want, but I didn't know if you read through these.
Everybody good? Make a motion to approve resolution 2026-34, authorizing the city clerk to make the appropriate inter-fund transfers of sums in the appropriate manner for the fiscal year 2026.
Second.
Okay. Strack?
Yes.
Hall?
Yes.
Bermal?
Yes.
Haas?
Yes.
Chichak?
Yes.
Who's speaking to?
Me.
You're up.
Yes. All right, Councilman Chichak and myself met just before the meeting this evening to go over the finances and reviewed all invoices, purchase orders, claims, bond payments for June, bond payments for December. There aren't any. The delinquents list, bank statement reconciliation, balance sheet, outstanding checks, bank statements, void checks, journal entries, budget reports, and timesheets. We found no errors, issues, or had any questions. There you go.
Just need a motion for bills and payment, right?
For the finance report.
Oh, we have to make a motion to approve the finance report.
Second.
Okay, Strack?
Yes.
Haas?
Yes.
Bermal?
Yes.
Chichak?
Yes.
Hall?
Yes.
Make a motion for the approval of bills for payment.
Second.
Okay, Strack?
Yes.
Haas?
Yes.
Bermal?
Yes.
Chichak?
Yes.
Hall?
Yes.
This is just to, we have Chichak and Hall on the committee, finance committee right now. It's been, I should have done last month, 6 months. We're just gonna rotate every 6 months. So I think I mentioned something to Tyson, that he'd be willing to get on.
You two gonna coin flip, Jody and Jared?
Yeah, I better coin flip. I'll let Jared, that's fine. I'll let him have the honor.
I better be getting a gift card in the mail.
I'm just gonna do 6 months, not.
Not like last year where I got stuck on it back to back.
Yeah. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Okay. So I just need a motion on
Make a motion to approve the mayor's appointment of finance committee members to replace Hall and Chichak.
Second.
Yes.
Bermal?
Yes.
Haas?
Yes.
Chichak? Strack?
Yeah.
He's so happy.
Just like a confused dog.
Another win.
I do not have any tonight, so I did not get any emails about tonight. Did you get any?
I didn't have anything.
Okay. Okay, meeting adjourned.